You know, how could you, I said to Jesus, how could you go to the cross and die for people when those you were dying for show no remorse? You know, sometimes you want the person who hurt you to show remorse. Let them cry. Let them come on their knees and beg for forgiveness. But then they are strutting away in church and you're thinking, anyway, they need to show remorse is one of my things. I said to God, why can't they show remorse? Anyway, Father taught me how to do this in 2 stages. The first one was the lesson of love. It's because I hadn't quite gotten or understood God's love towards me was one of the reasons I couldn't understand about forgiving other people. Let me show you what I mean by that. You know, I mentioned earlier on about how sometimes he says he loves me, and I'm thinking, you know what I did yesterday, you know what I'm going to do tomorrow, but you can still say that? And he was saying, well, and sometimes I cry with that, because I'm like, God, you know what? How could you still say all those nice things? He says, no, because I love you unconditionally. I'm like, okay, he loves me. He loves me even though I'm doing silly things. He loves me even though I throw a wobbly. He loves me even though sometimes my mind is not always as renewed as I should be. He still loves me. Wow. Okay, so it's like, well, now go and pay it forward to somebody else. Despite their flaws and all the things that they do to you, demonstrate that same love to them. You know what my answer was? You're God, you can handle that. You can handle me treating you badly, but I can't do that. Tell somebody. And he's like, no, you can, and you can learn to do that. But the more he demonstrated his love towards me, despite of me, the more I could not but help love my sisters and my brothers. It's like that love just became so overwhelming. I'm like, my God, I have to. But it didn't start. Rome wasn't built in a day. It didn't just start overnight. So as I said, the first stage is really about understanding God's love towards us and recognizing that his unyielding love is just so amazing, it's mind-boggling. And the second stage is that love to forgiveness stage. Remember I said, how do I forgive someone? But I may not have said this actually earlier on. But I said to Father, how do I forgive somebody who I know as sure as the sun will come out tomorrow, they'll do the same thing again? How? It's not an if but, it's when. They will do it. And he says the same way, this was his answer, the same way I have to forgive you every time you come to me and ask for forgiveness. It's the same way. So I'm thinking, okay. So you know the times when you say, oh Lord, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. It's the same way I want you to do it with somebody else. And that's really where my healing started. When he started to show me actually his love for me and forgiveness, my God, I can't but help show the same thing to somebody else. I might go a bit funny sometimes, it may take me a few days, but eventually we get there because I realize that there's something greater, because he loves me. If God was to take his love away from me for one fraction of a second, the enemy's all around waiting. His guard is around me. 1 second, I'll be nothing. Complete a figment of your imagination, gone. But for his love, we're standing. So who are we to withhold that? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not being insensitive here. I know some of us have been through some ordeals that even the mouth can't even share. But despite that, we can still move on. We can still move on. So for me, that aha moment is when God said, the same way, Gladys, I have to forgive you every time you come to me and say sorry. Now that's, you know, and I'm sure I can't remember if I did this, but I'm sure I probably said, well, yeah, at least I come and say sorry to you. What happens when the sister doesn't come and say sorry? In fact, this is the worst, and it's happened to me, where it says, no, instead of waiting for sorry, I want you to go and demonstrate something with love towards them. Okay, you know, palpitations. Okay, all right. Okay, Lord, help me. If that's what you want to do, what do you want to do? Buy her a present. Okay, and I did, and I tell you, the moment I handed it over, liberation. You know what? The person didn't come back and say thank you till about 2-3 months later. It doesn't matter. I've done it. And sometimes we need to get to that point where you're just like clay in the potter's hand, as Sharon says, okay, Father, you know what? This hurts, but if you'll help me do it, I'll do it. We need to get that. Not just in areas of hurt, but all our lives, the things we're struggling with. If you help me do it, I will go. So it's about getting God in and forgiving others and loving again. The next one is, and I love this one, unlock your heart but install gates. Seriously? We've been through this mountain 20 times. We've been hurt by Is there a lesson life is trying to teach you? Stop, press the pause button, and think. Am I, I know, sometimes, we look under every stone, and I always do that, okay, God, sometimes you think, okay, is it me, what I do, But sometimes, there are lessons that are being taught to us that we're kind of like being oblivious to. So my challenge is, okay, you've been hurt, we don't want you to go into hiding mode, but there has to be a strategy to guard your heart. Even the Bible says that, guard your heart with all diligence. So what do we have to do? Because the reality is there are some hurting people out there.